All right, hello and welcome to the Dog Days podcast. You are
Howdy,
joined by all four of the boys today, taking it
the
back to the,
boys.
the classic lineup
Taking
of
it back to
lads.
2017,
Oh, 2017.
circa.
Simpler times.
Circa. Shane, can you hear us? Is the music too loud?
Yeah,
Over
sorry.
there?
I think Phoebe Bridges was back there. Sorry. Hey, Phoebe, can you stop warming up? Thanks. Yeah, she's fine. I think she's actually like performing at the Loft today, supposedly.
Really?
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
The
have
Loft
no
like gets
idea.
big names.
I have no idea how they got her. Honestly, it's kind of incredible. I don't know if they did it in advance, like before she blew up, or what it was, but honestly, it's going to be a really cool show.
Are you
One
touring
of-
with Phoebe now, Shane? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm
with her?
actually part of her.
He's her
crew.
roadie.
I'm
He's
playing
Firehouse.
the Electric Triangle in her finale.
Bro, what's her
Okay.
like? What does she always request in like the green room? Like, what does she eat?
Yeah, she gets really weirdly specific. Lots of seltzer water, lots of granola bars, very healthy. A gallon jug of yogurt, that was kind of weird. Individual packets of sprinkles, which I guess go in the yogurt. I'm not really sure what that's about either.
Shane,
The Costco size of Prozac.
Exactly. Yeah. That's important.
Shane, as we all know, you're probably the number one Fleabag fan in the world. So were you confused at first, like when you saw the post on fucking Craigslist for, hey, I need a electric triangle player. Contact me. My name is Phoebe Bridgers, or what's her name? That's her name, right? Phoebe
Phoebe
Bridgers.
Bridgerton.
Yeah. Were you like, oh fuck, yeah, I have to like call her because you thought it was Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
So
Is that how that happened?
So actually how it works is I emailed her and I just sent a picture of the triangle I have as the attachment. And then she emailed me back saying, I want you at my next concert immediately. And that's actually how we connected. And then I added her on LinkedIn and everything.
Okay.
What kind of bridge is Phoebe?
That's a good question.
You remember that bridge that they show in engineering videos where the bridge is all vibrating everywhere in all these like waves because of the wind?
Oh,
Tacoma.
She's that bridge.
Shit.
Which is technically cooler than every other bridge, so it makes sense. And yeah,
I remember that video of resonance frequencies. That was very interesting.
Yeah, it's
Every
funny.
single
After
physics class.
all the vibrations courses we covered, do I remember really any of it at this point? Not really, but I remember that video front to end, pretty much.
I remember, bro. I remember
that was her first single.
The Tacoma Washington Bridge event.
Those are EP.
I don't remember a lot of the classes that we took together. I'm sorry if I sound a little confused. It's because I have allergies right now. I remember like an average of like 25% of all the lectures that I took, but all the lectures where we saw videos, I remember 100%. I remember the was it thermo? No, I think it was fluids. There was a fluids class where like for two entire lectures, we just watched videos of like different kinds of flow inside of a tube. And the guy that was presenting those videos looked like the actor Daniel Day-Lewis. That was fun. And then the bridge one. Remember the video of that class that we took about engineering ethics?
Is it just like
they showed us
flowing through a straw?
No, it's actually pretty cool. There was these videos from, I want to say it was like the 60s or 50s. They're pretty old, but they did these like really, really cool experiments with different types of flows, and they would like drop dye in the water, and you could like see, like visualize the things we're learning about in class. It was like, some of the most engaging stuff, just because a lot of times I think, Jadu, the reason why it's easy to forget a lot of this stuff is we would learn about it once, do a homework assignment, maybe do even a final on it at most, and then we never do it again. So it's one of those one in one ear, right out the other, where some of these other topics where you're really engaged, I feel like that's what really sticks in your brain the most. That's where you really learn. Or if you do it over and over again, that's another way you'll tend to remember that stuff. But yeah, classes that really kept you engaged were really fun.
Do you remember the class that we took where there were like 2 lectures about engineering ethics? And then they showed us like, hey, like you can't be a dickhead when you're an engineer because you might blow like 5 humans up in space while like the entire nation is watching live. And then we're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's kind of a heavy topic.
I mean, those tragedies are why they show those videos. Those are pretty standard for all engineering positions because some engineers are making some high stakes projects that impact people's lives if they go wrong. So it's good that they really drill it into us that, hey, you need to not only come to these lectures, but you have to understand what the stakes are because fortunately people will still cut corners and put people's safety at risk just for profit. And it's a shame.
Man, we just blew past the time for Daniel Day-Lewis fluid puns, but
I was gonna say Daniel Day-Lewis teaching fluids. That sounds like the greatest thing of all time.
And you know, Brennan, I just got your milkshake joke now, so it's been 5 minutes, but we're here.
There will be laminar flow.
I mean, honestly, if you were to like really draw up the physical diagram of like, if I have a straw, and like if you find the length of that straw and the curvature and maybe like the like internal friction, I guess we can just like assume incompressible flow, then we could theoretically find the velocity of that milkshake leaving the outside end of the straw.
And theoretically, you could slurp it up.
Oh, you could slurp it up. But you know, it does depend on the viscosity of the milkshake.
If I slurp a milkshake with a negative pressure of negative 20 psi, and the straw is 1 centimeter in diameter and 6 feet long, how long will it take me to drink it up?
It's weird. I feel like I did a homework assignment that was exactly like that. If anyone's playing Dog Days podcast bingo, be sure to check off Daniel Day-Lewis. Be sure to check off that square because we hit it again.
At least we move through them and don't keep coming back. I mean, we could do a segment where Daniel Day-Lewis has a conversation with Matthew McConaughey.
That's essentially what happened in every episode.
We're rejoined by the Jadu's evil twin, I guess.
Ooh.
The
Okay.
evil twin.
Or maybe the other one was the evil twin. We really don't know.
No, you'll see why that was worth. That was worth it. You'll see. Okay. Did we?
Okay, let's go ahead. Sorry.
Did we say that?
Oh my god.
Did we
Right.
say?
Well, I gotta get on the party. I'm feeling left out here. All right, continue.
Did we say that we were gonna do the Mandela Effect episode only when Jacob was on next? Was that a thing that we said?
I don't think so.
We were talking about the Mandela Effect. Was that like that was a few episodes back? We were talking about the movie. But that was at the end of the convo, so we're like, oh yeah, like
We'll save it for another time. That's where we left it.
No, yeah, but then Jacob was on, and I think we said like, ah, shit, like next episode we're gonna talk about the Mandela Effect, and then Jacob was like, oh shit, that's cool, and then we were like, okay, we can wait for like next time you're on, Jacob, or something like that. But yeah, we can talk about it now and then later again with Jacob or something. Okay.
It's not going to be any more real later than it is now, you know?
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Should we explain it first for someone who's listening and doesn't know?
Give them a little intro.
Okay, who wants to do it? Damn, no one.
Sorry, I'm
Brandon
just so
frozen?
distracted
Wait.
Yeah.
on this virtual
Okay.
background game.
Okay. Mandela Effect, for those who don't know, is that feeling you have that you live in a simulation because you remember perfectly, like vividly, as if it was yesterday. You remember something being one specific way, but then, jeez, but then it's not actually that way. It was never that way. It's only like you're misremembering something, and that happens a lot. And the reason it's called Mandela Effect is is because
Ben, that is the most clever idea of all time for a virtual background. I just have to say.
the reason it's called the Mandela Effect is because people seem to misremember the fact that Mandela never died, like before 2014, which is I think when he actually died. But people seem to misremember him dying in the 90s, which never happened. But people remember that. So yeah, there's a lot of shit like that. What's up, Austin?
Jadu, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
I didn't know you knew Macanini, bro.
Bro, all three of us, we love to hang.
Good visual gags.
Where are you right now? Are you in Venice?
Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out with the Italians. Making Beatles.
Are you three gonna have a lovely romantic afternoon in Venice after this?
That's the goal.
Yeah, we're drinking wine. Yeah, she feed me grapes.
Oh shit. Fuck, who's the one getting spit roasted?
Not it.
Those goats.
Macanini, you lost again.
Yeah, bro. This guy never touches his nose. Yo, give me a head bump.
Yo, Austin, introduce yourself to our listeners.
So I'm Austin. If you don't know me, that's because I have not been on Dog Days before. I'm Brendan's younger brother, the cooler brother, as posted by my popular census survey that only surveyed me.
No, yeah, we all know that survey. Like,
Right?
we all answered it. Yeah,
It's been cited by like 25 million sources, I think.
yeah.
I don't know.
It was cited as the #1 survey in America by like at least 1,000 different surveys.
I think it goes like Willow, Austin, and then Colleen, and then maybe the forbidden fourth sibling that lives in
Don't
the
talk about
basement. Yeah, and
And
then
the only
Brandon.
reason Colleen is #3 is because her name literally has lean in it.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, she's lit.
Austin, if you had to share a romantic afternoon in Venice with one professor on Earth, who would it be?
One professor?
Yeah.
Someone we won't know.
Doesn't have to. It could be a famous professor. You never know.
I mean, like, I think I'd choose a famous professor, though.
You're disappearing.
Austin
Come back.
singing.
Come back. No.
His mind was in Venice for a second. He ascended. He left.
No, my immediate thought is Schrodinger, just because, like, I gotta know, is the cat alive? But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess all famous scientists are professors.
Pretty much.
Yeah, true.
Either that
Yeah.
or like built weapons during World War II.
The correct
Yo.
answer was Dr. Jill Biden, but it's okay.
Dr. Joe Biden.
Yo, Austin, what are you up to right now? Did you finish college?
No, I have to take one more class in the fall. I'm in the middle of week 10, so finals week gets to be next week, which is really exciting. Not really. Yeah, I've been working on senior project all this last quarter.
What are you doing?
I
Are you
am
accelerating
working on black holes.
electron? Are you accelerating neutrons?
Nah, no particle acceleration, unfortunately. Just
Yeah.
I've been using data from the Veritas telescope in Arizona to look for high energy gamma rays from a blazar in outer space.
Are you gonna be able to make Hulk?
Dude, I wish.
You
Honestly,
could
not
be
gonna
Hulk.
lie, like I want to get super rich so I could just like do whatever I want with science rather than having to do like what other scientists are doing with science.
Bro, your family has a Elon Musk fetish.
Right?
Yeah, except Austin's gonna build a Dyson sphere.
I don't know what that is.
Get hold of like half the world's like raw material.
Sweet.
That's doable. Does that mean you're going to be like possibly the first person to detect aliens?
Bro, quite possibly, yes. Like literally one of the people on the like collaboration I'm working with, the guy who like runs our like branch, like he has like specific time slotted on the telescope to like look for like messages or like extraterrestrial life.
Bro, what would
Imagine-
you send,
Hours a
what would
year,
you
something
like,
that.
would you send something back before you told people? Or would you just like
I have no idea. I don't think it would be my decision to make because like I'm just kind of there.
Yeah, this is
Along for the
a
ride.
question. This is a question for the five of us. What if you know that tomorrow at midday you're gonna talk to the first alien that we've ever contacted. You have like 1 minute. No, you have like 10 seconds to like send a message. And then you're only gonna get the answer back like a year from now. What would you say?
I would tell them to meet me at Ligma, and then the aliens would reply, "What's Ligma?"
A year from now.
I'd probably be like, hey yo, oh, shit girl, what you wearing right now?
Bro, you up? Question mark.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Eggplant emoji. I would beam a dick pic into outer space, but it wouldn't be my own, just for like personal privacy.
Bro, definitely gotta find out what their Super Smash Bros. Main is.
All right, that leads you into a follow-up question. If we had to send the aliens a picture of one dick, whose dick?
Whose would it be?
Fuck.
It's an important choice.
Ooh.
Would you send it? Would you want them to see the most perfect dick that ever was? Or would you want them to see what an average dick looks like?
I think no, we're showing the best of the best here. We're not gonna let the aliens settle for average.
That's why we sent Danny DeVito's dick pic.
Okay.
Easy. Answers
Danny
itself.
DeVito's got an aura around him that I think he's a little bit more than the average man down there. You know, all of his body mass had to go somewhere. I'm just
Exactly.
saying.
Right?
That's true. That's true. Physically.
I would just show them Mechanini's dick, but that's just me.
Moving on.
There's a lot of visual gags. That's why people need to watch us on YouTube, not just on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that, Spotify listener.
Yeah, Austin, do you have anything to say about the Mandela effect?
Back
That's
to the
like where you
Mandela
forget
effect,
things,
yes.
right? Or like you like remember things wrong.
Yeah, it's when you think you remember something being one way, but that thing was never that way.
Right?
But it's a very collective experience. So it's like
Yeah.
not just you, but like everybody
yeah.
remembers something.
I think
Do you
it's
have anything? Okay, go ahead.
like I've heard of it, but I'm like I don't know why like it's a thing.
So you've never experienced it?
Like I mean, like, the things I hear about, I'm like, I don't really know if this is like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's almost like more people say like, oh yeah, like I totally like this was like, I forgot this, but like, it's stuff that like they've quite literally didn't care about ever. And I'm like, wow, this show I never watched, I didn't know the name of. How funny is that?
Okay, that's a good take. Brendan, show him some examples of shit that people have Mandela effect over, and
Actually,
then
I have that.
see if he cares, see if he like knows about one.
I
of
can
them.
share my screen real quick. I actually have some pulled up here.
Go ahead.
Pull it up. Shane's already on the.
So the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
The host is a fucking dictator.
How the fuck do I enable that?
Just look up Mandela Effect on Google, then you share your screen. It's you're gonna find the same stuff. It's a lot of
Actually had it.
one of the more common ones
That's
is
what I was saying. That I always thought that you could just share screens.
one of the more common ones is Curious George, because Curious George doesn't have a tail, but I guess everyone thought he has a tail.
Okay.
Which
I mean, like, that's just because like it makes sense for a monkey to have a tail, but like
100%.
not like I would go back and be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, his tail was popping off that whole Curious George.
So I want to say I remember being little and kind of distinctly remember him not having a tail and going like, oh, that's kind of weird. And I think he's supposed to be based off of like a monkey that doesn't have a tail, so it makes sense that he doesn't.
Right.
That's chimpanzees don't have tails, right?
Who would create a show for children about a monkey and then go like, I'm gonna put my own spin on this monkey. Let's make him tailless.
Well, I mean, he's a chimpanzee. That's why
Oh,
Bro,
wait,
imagine
chimps
if he
don't
was
have tails.
they don't have tails.
Oh, dude, he
What
just
the
had-
fuck? Chimps don't have tails.
That's how I just throwing poop. at
Mandela
them.
Effect.
Chimps don't have tails.
Dude, chimps are Mandela-ed. Bam, get Mandela-ed.
Chimpanzee. I thought all primates, except us and like gorillas, had tails.
This is why the Mandela Effect exists, is because stuff like that. Where another common one is the Coca-Cola logo, because for some reason people thought there was a hyphen in it. There
Oh,
wasn't a hyphen in it. I forgot which one.
There's a recurring theme of like it's something that you would never really think about, and so when someone asks you about it, you're like, oh, I think so. Like that seems right. It's like expectation
Yeah.
versus like
right.
ever giving any second thought to it whatsoever.
Because like the hyphen in the Coca-Cola logo is so small, it makes sense why you would think, oh, maybe it didn't have it. So I don't know. It's kind of strange. Another popular one is the Monopoly logo, the Monopoly Man. Apparently, he doesn't have a monocle, but I guess everyone thought he does.
That's fair.
But I think that's just because that's the stereotype of like that kind of character would have the monocle on him.
True.
yeah.
But it looks
Wait,
fun.
So you're not. No one is convinced by any of the Mandela Effect examples. No one. There's not a single one. Let me
The
see if
Monopoly
there's one.
one's kind of weird.
Yeah, that one I think is the.
I'm gonna try to look some up too, because I definitely like recall these like what's it called, being fooled by some of them.
Yeah, me too. Looney Tunes.
I like this Curious George one, and it has like a really shitty like MS Paint tail like drawn on.
Yeah, it's not very. Some of these aren't very convincing.
But I mean, again, not to get too deep into this theory, but if we live in a simulation, this totally makes sense.
Right, they can just change something.
Yeah.
Like missing semicolon or something like that. They fix it up. Boom. Curious George no longer has a tail.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if there's a pandemic going on and the only code they're changing is the fact that Berenstain has the wrong string, so we need to change Stain to Berenstein. That's they got to find better things to do here. That patch is not what we needed right now.
I mean, like, to be fair, like, when I was playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I was most of the time trying to cause chaos.
Oh, dude, that game
true.
back in the day.
Bro,
Dude,
the
you could do some
best
fucked
game.
up shit in that game. You could like trap people on a roller coaster forever until they die.
Right now, imagine if like your Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is just like the entire universe. Like, yo, screw it. Take away Curious George's tail, bro.
We are all the Sims.
I'm gonna flip it though. Imagine like writing a bunch of children's book about a bunch of bears, and then suddenly people start showing up to your house and screaming at you because they think your name's different than what your name was the entire time, even though you remember your name being quite Berenstain, but everyone else got it wrong for years, and now you have people yelling at you because they remembered incorrectly. It's very weird.
The double stuffed Oreo doesn't have a double F on stuff. It's just double
Yeah,
stuff.
I was well aware of that.
Yeah,
I definitely knew that one. Jadu, get with the times.
All right, fuck me. R2D, no, C3PO.
I think we're all on the same.
Yeah.
One that did get me for a while was Gandalf in the Fellowship of the Ring. I thought he always said "fly," but no, "run, you fools," but it's "fly, you fools." I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like another similar example of that is when Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father," but everyone always misquotes it as "Luke, I'm your father." But that's just because everyone misquotes it.
Yeah, that one's stupid. That one, like, there's a few ones that I'm entirely unconvinced by because I was always aware of the real thing.
I misread this, but it would have been much funnier if they just included this was Tank Man or like Tiananmen Square. Like most people think Tiananmen Square happens, but nothing happened.
Oh man, wow! I have a funny feeling I know where this is going. Weird.
You know something that I always like mix memories from my childhood. I distinctly remember like 9/11. I remember like me waking up. It's like a hazy like kind of memory, but I remember like me waking up and like I think like watching some cartoon on the TV and then like it switches to like the towers falling. But that also never happened. I know for a fact that didn't happen. Because like wasn't it like a Saturday or something? Like
no,
I
I
definitely-
distinctly remember coming.
It was a work day.
Yeah, I remember getting
work day?
picked up
true.
from kindergarten by like my babysitter or like daycare person. And then when we got back, it was like lunchtime, and like that was on the news, and I had no idea what was going on. Like, there's just like a static shot of like a big thing like smoking, which was the towers. That's just like what is this? Like, I had no concept of what was going on. But like, my babysitter was freaking out.
We're the first generation. Wait, maybe I'm being too hyperbolic, but we're like this thing of like that scale of terrorism. We're the first generation to like grow up knowing that that's possible, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too because like there's so many movies that in a way like almost predicted it. Like you have like Independence Day, like the White House blowing up, and just like in so many different like Godzilla, like cities being destroyed, and all these movies where like buildings are just being like destroyed, and people's like psyches are like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And then it happens in real life, and people are just like, you're like, are you like this is insane? I feel like I'm watching the movie.
I almost agreed.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say to a degree too. I think it was at least for in the like the American consciousness, it felt more real. Because even like I was thinking back to like all the world wars and all the conflicts in the 20th century. Pretty much none of those were fought on American soil. The closest was Pearl Harbor, and that was like way far off in Hawaii. For the most part, there had never really been many wars fought on American soil since the Civil War, and then suddenly. And then like in other countries, they were getting bombed and some of their cities were obliterated. And that was kind of the first time I was like, oh, this could happen to us. And I think that just kind of shook the country more awake, where other countries might have been at least a little more numb to it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like about your comment on the movie stuff, like I think it's pretty common to see people's ideas reflect movies or TV or media or whatever, because we grow up with this idea that like to really make an impact, like destroy a big monumental, building or historic site or whatever, So like when they design their attack, they're like, we're just gonna hit like big important buildings that'll really like send a message, and so that's why it happened.
By the way, do you guys remember when Gus was on? He recommended us this documentary that is a
Oh, the
British
Adam
documentary.
Curtis
Yeah, the British one called "Can't Get You Out of My Head," which he said like I don't even know how it's all for free on YouTube, but it is. So then I watched it. It's fucking like 8 hours long. You have to there's like 6 parts, and you have to, if you want to watch it, like watch it in parts. It's super long and it's super dense. It's very like upsetting, but it's basically like a documentary about the emotional history of the world, emotional history of the modern world, I think. And they talk about like dudes, you should all watch it. It's crazy. It's very, like I said, it's very dense, but he kind of paints a picture of why the US is the way it is and what the defining characteristics of the US are. And the same thing with China, Russia,
Middle
and
East.
Britain. No, not the Middle East. Just like he picked like kind of like two superpowers of the West and two superpowers of the East. So then he did US and Britain and China and Russia. And
Interesting.
it's super like um uh persuasive. His theory basically is like the US is a very paranoid country. Britain is a very like is a country that feels like hurt by how they were once like at the top and like ran the entire world, and now like people are taking more and more power from them. So they're super like, as a people, they're super like hurt by everything. They're like, fuck you. Like that's basically their general feeling. In Russia and China, since they used to be like communist and China still is, there's this sense of like community there where it basically trumps all individuality and no one's free. Like that's basically how they are. And it's super interesting to see how everything contributed to that.
I feel like his documentary style is so like interesting because it comes across as nice, sexy. It comes across as like a conspiracy theory, everything that he presents, but like it's not conspiracy because all of the evidence that he uses to prove his points are factual. Like they're things that happened, but they're just things that happened that people don't like really talk about that much, or not in like the way that he presents them.
Yeah. His shit, I've seen King Get Out of My Head, and I saw, what's the other one?
Have you seen Hypernormalization?
Yeah. I saw those
that was
two,
so good.
and it's super like frantic, and like it does seem kind of like he's trying to shock you into believing in what he's saying, but it's not actually that. Like he's very persuasive with his arguments, but the style is also very like shocking. It's very cool. Shit.
Wait, this means Shane has to do a picture of himself.
It's not fair. Shane's pictures don't go very far back. He's covering his tracks.
My bad, guys.
You just got a different angle of the loft.
All right, so
The reveal, he said.
this is
A lot of
this is
visual
the
guys.
visual comedy that I bring to this show.
I guess our listeners have to watch the video.
This episode
we
is
haven't
gonna be
sold
20
you
minutes
yet.
long.
I have the good. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead. It was not.
So there's this. It kind of hasn't happened in a while, but I wanted to bring it up to see if anyone else has. Oh, there's two Bens in the call. Oh, okay. I wanted to bring it up to see if anyone else can relate to this, but like a while ago, like maybe in March, it happened like several different times. I would be doing something in my room, and then I don't know if I actually heard or if I think I heard, but I definitely experienced this sound, and it was like a sound of like the universe. It was like not a specific like tune, and it wasn't like there wasn't a rhythm, but it was like a kind of like a chord progression of like kind of sounded like some violins or a I don't know cello, and then it lasted for like 3 seconds, and then nothing happened after that. It was just like I'm doing something, and then I hear like this mysterious like cosmic sound for 3 seconds, and then it stays in my mind, but nothing comes out of that sound. And it's not like it's not external. It's not coming from anywhere. It's just like I know it's in my head. It was super weird. And I felt like it was like the universe trying to communicate with me. Or maybe I was like being abducted. Or maybe like it's a simulation, telling me, giving me like a sign. So what do you guys think of that?
I think maybe you had a stroke.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've ever experienced the sound of the universe.
Bro,
Some good albums. There's some King Giz albums that sound like the sound of the universe, but no, nothing like that. At least, in all seriousness, nothing quite that trippy.
Shane, that new season of Twilight Zone, which by the way is way better than the first Jordan Peele Twilight Zone season.
Okay, yeah.
There's one episode where the girl, it's called like The Egg, I think that episode. And the girl is at home, and then something happens, and then she hears a sound, and then she goes to sleep, and then she wakes up the next morning. Do you remember that episode?
I don't think I've ever seen that one. Is that like, does it go in her ear or something?
No, fuck. I don't remember what the technology is, but it's basically, fuck, I don't remember. No, I think it's just like outside. It's like an ethereal sound, and then she wakes up the next morning. Like the sound just makes her like go to sleep and skip forward.
Wow.
I don't know if that's in my like subconscious.
But yeah, no, it could very well be. I've only seen a handful of like the older episodes, so I don't know. But it's interesting. Actually, the story kind of brings back in my memory. Did you guys hear the news about how there was, I believe, a base, a U.S. base, like some sort of naval base or army base? I think it was near Cuba, and they kept hearing these like really weird frequency noises, and they started getting some like physical symptoms out of it, and they kept thinking like they thought they were like under attack because people kept exhibiting like really weird symptoms, and they kind of took everyone off at a point, but they can never pinpoint what it was. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
That's fascinating because it almost sounds like whatever you heard was like a very pleasant little noise, where this one was making them like throw up and like, have some like very physical ailments.
Yeah.
So it's funny, and they never figured out what it was. So
That's
Right.
fucking wild. What? I mean, it
I
sounds like a secret like weapon or some shit like someone was testing.
Ben, do you have an almost mullet?
Huh?
Do you have an almost mullet?
1 second.
Let me see the back of your head.
No, I'm wearing a headband.
Okay.
Pissing me off.
That reminds me, Shane. I think last year I went on Reddit I think I went on like r/mysterious sounds or something,
okay, I've
or
heard that one. Yeah.
r/ like mystery. I don't remember what it was, but it's like in terms of the things that we can like experience that are creepy. Sight is obviously like the one that creeps us out the most. If we're looking like in the distance and we see like something that resembles a face, that's always gonna make us shit or pads. But like sound is up there. Like sound is very close to sight and that it's very able to make us shit our pants too.
I feel like it's, I don't know, in some ways, well, maybe not. I was gonna say in some ways it's almost worse. Cause like imagine being in a pitch black room and like hearing, I don't fucking know, like deep breathing or like a growl or
Oh my God.
some shit. Like fuck that, right?
Yeah. I mean, sound is part of what makes a horror movie great. It's,
Yeah.
you can have the creepy visuals, but sound is huge in having like jump scares or just really building tension.
Yeah. And that subreddit, there were these videos of the sounds that go on in the ocean, like 24/7 that we don't hear because we're on land. And it's just wild. There's so much going on that like we're not used to.
Bro, like the ocean is so scary. I could like talk forever about how fucking terrifying the ocean is. We don't know shit about it. Like we don't know what's down there. And even some of, I mean, obviously some of the stuff we do know that's down there is already terrifying enough.
Okay.
Like fucking, I don't remember why I was learning about it, but I was learning about Humboldt squid, which are like after like giant squid, they're like the next biggest squid there is. And they're like the size of like a dolphin maybe, but they actually like will attack people and like eat them like in open water. Or just fucking like imagine getting like attacked by and killed by a squid, dude.
Yeah, death by squid's not the way I want to go.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's crazy too. Like, I mean, people thought giant squids were a myth, I believe, for a long time until they like found one on like the beach one day and they were like, holy shit, like giant squids are real. For a long time, it was just like a sailor story. Who knows what else is down there?
Like, what if any other like sailor stories like that were actually real? Like fucking like Kraken or sea serpent or some shit. Well, I assume that Kraken was based off like people seeing giant squid. I have to assume.
That's most likely, but I mean, still, who knows?
Bro, imagine like being a fucking like sailor in like 1600 and you just see like a dead giant squid like float to the surface near your boat or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you even react to that? Like, you have no concept of what a giant squid is.
You go to the pub once you're back on shore, you grab a drink, and then the story gets more crazy and crazy every time it's told until it turns into the Kraken.
True.
Yeah. There's like people who say like we should invest all of our science money on going deeper and deeper into the ocean because we don't know what happens in 80%. That is true, but it's also like nothing too crazy can be going on down in the ocean. Like nothing like I don't know, an entire new civilization, I don't think is waiting to be discovered. But at the same time, stuff like, I don't know, weird fossils can easily be down there that we've never seen. And shit like, I don't know, weird shipwrecks. Imagine like if we've ever been visited by alien life forms, like a very long time ago, that shit would definitely be like in the bottom of the ocean. Like it wouldn't be just floating. So then like we could investigate further to find mysterious shit out. But nothing like Atlantis is gonna be done there.
And yeah, it turns out we really don't know anything about rolling down in the deep, you could say.
Yeah, I watched Godzilla versus Kong. I heard there's a lot of interesting stuff down in the ocean.
Bro, Ben, I saw a TikTok
Mhm.
of like I'm white and this is the kind of hip hop that I'm comfortable with. And that's definitely the person that made that song is definitely that was the mindset that they had. I'm gonna
Oh,
make some
man.
hip hop I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, there's a whole subreddit that I go on regularly about like people like that. Who were just like, oh, rap is crap unless it's like Eminem. He's the only real rapper, like shit like that. It's like, dude, come on.
People get weird about music now.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, it always makes me chuckle, like how much fighting and how much people will take what other people like, take offense to it over music. It's very silly to me sometimes.
Or like gatekeeping. That's the thing that pisses me off the most, dude. They're just like, oh, are you like you're not a real fan of this artist or like of this genre or whatever. It's like,
yeah, it's like, oh, you like King Giz? How many of their songs have the word boogie in it? And it's like that, and you have to do the math because it's like 12. But it's people get weird
shit.
about it, and it's just let people enjoy what they want to listen to. You're not hurting anyone.
Shane, are you the person who said that if you don't know how many songs have that word in it, then they're not a real fan? Because you do know how many there are.
I don't. I threw out a number. It's at least 5, but it's probably more.
It's at least once on every song on Fishing for Fishies.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, that's good content.
Bro, I don't even know like how y'all are doing this. Like, what you have the technology to do this, and I feel like I don't.
It's Apple Gang.
Hey, now
I'm
I'm
not.
looking, and I was joking, but 3 of the 9 songs in Fishing for Fishies have Boogie in the title.
Yep. Cyber Boogie, Plastic Boogie, and then Boogeyman Sam. All 3.
Shane, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not a real King Giz fan because it's actually Sty Boogie. Fuck, you have officially been kicked out.
I'm gonna refund my tickets. It's done.
Is King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard the band with the most songs ever recorded?
Oh, no. Not even close. No.
I can't remember.
Because they come out with like 17 different albums every year.
I think they're at 18 is coming out soon, Ben.
That sounds right.
I think 18. It's 18 that's coming out
this year.
Yeah, no. I mean 18 total. Number 18 is coming out. Okay. I think late next week actually.
Yep.
But there's definitely like some artists out there who've made a crazy amount of music.
But they definitely have more songs than like the Beatles and like the Rolling Stones at this point, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
And like Queen and Led Zeppelin, they've definitely made more because the Beatles only existed for 10 years and 10 albums.
Yeah, I mean, I think King Gizzard's also.
It's crazy to think about that.
11 years, but yeah, 18 albums. Who knows how many songs that is now?
It's crazy to compare the duration of things compared to the duration of the Beatles. Like we have been doing Dog Days for 5 years. That's half of the time that the Beatles existed for. Like, that's crazy. We can say that we've contributed to way more than half of what the Beatles contributed to the world.
True. I've contributed more than the Beatles. If you like, what do you think? Is there anything that you have contributed more of than the Beatles did?
I mean, I was gonna say to engineering, but no.
Fucking, I have way more Reddit karma than. Oh wait, that might not be true because I'm sure that like Paul McCartney or something has done an AMA. But now I need to.
yeah, you
look
gotta
this
be
up.
careful with that.
Wait, Ben, do you answer questions and make like interesting like wholesome posts?
He's actually a lot.
What?
He's on the feet subreddit a lot. He posts his feet pictures normally.
r/feet. Let me
r/feet.
check
I would
that out.
know. I follow Ben.
Yeah, I have way more feet pics on Reddit than any of the Beatles do. Fuck those guys.
I've definitely gone to the Loft way more times than any of the Beatles.
But is that a contribution? Oh, it is a contribution to the Loft.
It is to UCSD as a whole, to the greater community.
You guys, I have 10,000 more post karma on Reddit than fucking Paul McCartney's bitch ass has. So fuck you, Paul.
We love to see it.
He does have a shit ton of comic karma because I feel like he probably did that one AMA and that was it.
You definitely have more credit karma than fucking John Lennon.
Bro, I have a fucking higher credit score than fucking, I don't know, like Abraham Lincoln or like than JFK ever did. Fuck.
You can play the bass better than FDR probably.
What if he was just a fucking like the one of the best bassists of all time where we just don't know? Before the polio, he was just really slapping that shit.
Yeah, maybe even during, if you got like a smaller bass, you could just jam out on.
Bro, he like, have you ever listened to any of his old? He used to do like the fireside chats on the radio. Thanks, American history from high school, and like fucking, you know, people don't really remember it or talk about it, but like a big portion of it, like he would do it for an hour, like what, every week. And
So he hosted a podcast.
Exactly, dude. He was the first podcaster, but the biggest thing is like for 20 minutes of that, he would just be fucking ripping a fat basso like bow, 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 bow.
And that's how we'll win the war.
Yeah. Bass solo war.
Yeah, I do to say his. Never mind. Just never mind.
Those fucking Nazis can't slap a bass for shit.
His bass battle with Hitler was incredible.
Bro, that was the boss, right? That was the boss of Guitar Hero 5.
You ever see Scott
FDR and you're FDR and then you're playing and then like you reach the underbosses, like fucking who's that guy from Portugal? Franco. And then the guy from Spain, Salazar, I think is his name. And then like Stalin, and then you get to Hitler, and like he's like the demon guy, the demon boss. And then you have to play Tom Morello.
He's the final boss.
Yeah.
I definitely was picturing more of like the Scott Pilgrim bass battle in my head.
Never saw that.
But
I
recommend it. It's quite good. I finally saw it.
It's fun. Watch it high. Like it's a fun movie.
When did FDR die?
Still fun.
Mm-hmm.
When did FDR die?
Right before 1945. He died before World War II ended.
Okay. I was gonna ask if he was alive, if we overlapped with FDR at all, but
no. He was very dead very long before.
He sacrificed his spirit to put into the atomic bombs.
He was old during World War II, so
he's also
Is he the most respected president ever of the United
No.
States?
No.
I mean, JFK is very respected, but also like there's all the talk about like him and Marilyn Monroe and like I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
he's no, he was definitely a good guy. But he wasn't president for long. Like
He was
Yeah,
he was
I'm talking about
controversial.
guys.
I mean, part of the reason why he's respected. I mean, I'm not even saying this to like sound edgy or to be a joke, but part of the reason why he's respected so much is because he died.
Yeah,
That's a big part of it. I mean, he was pretty divisive in terms of which party you were a part of back then, and like especially in like the area he was driving through, Dallas, like that was a very unpopular area for him. People were kind of worried about him riding around out there in the first place, and like you said, he had quite the personal scandals going on because it wasn't just Marilyn Monroe; it was like dozens of women. So, like he like Bill Clinton has nothing on JFK. JFK like would look at him and be like, "Well, those are rookie numbers, Bill." But
who do you think is the most popular U.S. president ever? Like Eisenhower?
George Washington.
I would say Lincoln.
Well, most people would be Lincoln. Some people might not be as big of a fan of Lincoln, but I would say George Washington's like way up there. Probably Lincoln and Washington.
But are FDR and JFK like close to those two?
They're probably some of the more well-known ones. They're probably like a tier or two below.
For sure.
Oh fuck, dude! President tier list next episode.
I'd be down. That'd be fun. Hey, as long as Taft is up there.
Yeah, a fucking legend, dude. Biggest president, most massive boy. That's all that matters, baby.
Yeah, he was actually a creep in real life, but we'll get to that.
Would that mean like he's the president with the fattest ass?
Probably.
Hell yeah.
Who's the cross-dressing president?
Sorry, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the cross-dressing one.
I have no clue.
Don't be jealous, Melania. You know this makes me look good.
My tits look way better in this dress.
J. Edgar Hoover.
I mean, he wasn't a president. He was the FBI.
Wait,
FBI
J. Edgar Hoover was not a president?
No, you're thinking of Herbert Hoover. They're different Hoovers.
No. I'm thinking about J. Edgar Hoover.
He was not the president. He was very powerful and influential, especially in the Cold War era, but he was not president.
What the fuck?
But yes, that was actually where my mind originally went to when you mentioned cross-dressing, because he absolutely
Yeah.
He was just deeply undercover. Like, don't fucking judge him. He was in the FBI.
What the fuck? How do I know the name of a government person from the U.S. that was never president? It makes no like. Why would I know the name?
He's brought up in last podcast on the left pretty often. That might be why.
I haven't listened to LPOTL in a while, so I like. Bro, have you seen how they like? I mean, of course you have. They look so weird. Like it's such a weird. If you had to pick like human bodies to like show like how weird they can get, I could pick those 3 bodies and it wouldn't be too far off. There's one really tall, lanky one. There's one short, super fat one. And then there's one that's just huge. Amazingly huge.
And you know what? They're all beautiful just the way they are.
Yeah, of course.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Jadu, have you heard the shit about Jesse Thorne, who is Shaney's the leader or the head guy of the podcast network that like the Bim Bam is part of all the time?
Should I be worried? Did something happen?
No, he's just like I've been like reading people have been talking about him basically, and he just kind of sucks shit. Like he was like basically shaming people who listen to a podcast but don't donate to it or something because like you owe it to them to like give money. But he also like sells like expensive merch and shit. I don't know, like he just kind of apparently is the worst.
Yeah,
Oof.
I mean, some people in positions like that sometimes get entitled or kind of, yeah, it's unfortunate, but not super uncommon, I would say.
It makes me relieved when someone's just a dick nowadays. When you hear like, did you hear that he's a dick? I go, ooh,
Thank God.
he's just a
Yeah,
dick.
it's like we knew
But-
that.
Yeah, but also like I kind of see the point of that. Like podcasts, the way most popular podcasts work, are a very weird business model that mostly, in the case of like Max Fun, they kind of have to like beg to survive, right? So then it is kind of weird. I
Yeah.
would tend to like agree with him that I'm even like in fault partly for not ever donating to Max Fun and enjoying their podcast for like fucking 3 years now. Like it's weird. It's a gray area.
I mean, they're making content for free. I mean, you do what you can, of course, to like contribute, but I don't think you should feel any sort of like pressure to, because at the end of the day, they like that's what ads are for as well, is to kind of
Yeah.
give them that platform of guaranteed money, and then the paid like stuff like Patreon and stuff. It helps, but especially when you have a podcast network that I'm sure is as big as they are, I think they're probably doing just fine.
And in our Patreon for this episode, you'll be able to see Shane getting a buzz cut.
Exactly, and you'll also see exclusive pictures of Ben's feet.
Yeah. Not the ones you see on Reddit.
No,
all
the
time.
good stuff.
Yeah. The oily ones.
Fingernails, toenails painted.
PB&J on feet.
All right.
Delicious.
With that beautiful, delicious image, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. Brendan, unfortunately, went off to gallivant around Venice with Daddy Macanini, so he will not be giving an outro today. But I've been Ben, and please buy my feet pics, follow my OnlyFans. It's only feet pics. Please, I don't have health insurance. I'm really sick. Help.
My name is Shane, and I don't know. Listen to Phoebe Bridgers. She's a cool artist.
And I've been Jadu. I just realized that if you download the Zoom app, the window gets minimized, and wherever you go, you can still see the call, which is cool. And my turkey news for the day is from the Daily Saba. Turkey calls for a permanent solution to Palestine, condemns Israel. There you go.
All right. Time to go look at some
Bye.
Phoebe Bridgers feet pics. Bye.